Alright, I'm going to sing a song, and I sang this for Delara back in 2000, a couple years ago, when I thought we were coming to the end of our journey of having all this interference in our relationship. And ever since this started, I have wanted Delara to do the right thing and have the courage of her convictions, and to know that I did too, and we're gonna do the right thing even if nobody else does, as far as we're able to. But anyway, this is Aaron Tippin, who's, I guess he's an old man now, but he was pretty hot in country music, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago. And this is a famous song. It's a very good song. And one thing that I think is really wrong with this country is our children aren't, we're not developing good moral fiber, and we're neglecting the character development in our children. And in Tennessee, the General Assembly says mothers and fathers are the backbone of society, and they teach children right from wrong. But then that's until the state steps in when they're not supposed to. And people can take you to court, but the judges, if they're doing their job, won't let people get very far. If people are trying to use the court system to deprive other people of their rights and liberties that are supposed to be constitutionally protected, the judges should say, "I'm sorry, we can't go there with that." or tell people, like I did, you don't need a lawyer, you need a therapist. So anyway, this is, I'm going to try to not mess it up too bad. I didn't practice it enough. You've got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. And I look kind of weird today because I didn't do my makeup, and I didn't take my shower today because I took one kind of like yesterday, and my hair is all greasy. And Delara will see this. This is October 2nd. This is Noah's birthday, October 2nd, 2018. So, but Delara, I don't know if she'll see this until she's 18. She'll see it at some point. She'll know, on Noah's birthday, 2018, I was singing this song and thinking about her, and remembering how I sang it to her at the library a couple years ago when I was on a supervised visit. See if I can remember it. Daddy didn't like trouble, but if it came along, everyone who knew him knew which side that he'd be on. He never was a hero, or his county's shining light, but you could always find him standing up for what he thought was right. He'd say, "You've got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. You've got to be your own man, not a puppet on a string. Never compromise what's right and uphold your family name. You've got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything." We might have been better off for owned a bigger house. Daddy done more giving in or a little more backing down. But we always had plenty, just living his advice. Whatever you do today, you'll have to sleep with tonight. He'd say, "You've got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. You've got to be your own man, not a puppet on a string." messed that up. But I was playing it in a different key when I played it for Delora, so I haven't practiced it in this different key, so that's why I wasn't sure about the chords, but that's a good song. And I see in court, lots of times, I see people who are not standing up for what is right. I see people going along with the crowd. I see people being bullied and intimidated. I see people who, like the CASA in our case. Why do we have a CASA? We had a CASA. CASAs are supposed to be, you're supposed to have a CASA in cases of child abuse or neglect. There was no child abuse or neglect in our case, so guess what? They dreamed up to say we needed a CASA for homeschooling and spanking. Now, why did we really need a CASA in our case? Because my daughter's dad did not have a leg to stand on legally. So they were really trying to make an issue out of the homeschool. And it wasn't enough just to stop me from homeschooling. That was never just the goal. That was, okay, if we could stop her, if we can get everybody to ignore the law and the child's best interest, and it was raining today too, so I got sprinkled on, so my hair's a mess. So if we can get the judge, the judges, magistrates, or whatever, to stop the mother from homeschooling, despite every reason in the world why she should have continued to be homeschooling, she was, the trolls, one of the trolls at some point said, all those things they make up, they said I was not legally homeschooling. I absolutely was legally homeschooling. It's in the court record, evidence of that's in the court record. You can go back and, let's see, I'm at some point I want to upload to YouTube, make sure, because some of them were uploaded to my computer, but not to YouTube, I think. So I want to upload everything. But if you go back to the first hearing on the homeschool, it's June 30th, 2014. I earlier in that month, I complied with all the law and was homeschooling my daughter for kindergarten. She's actually doing some first, second grade work, but it's technically that was that compulsory kindergarten year. So they stopped me from homeschooling, and she had a far less rewarding educational experience in public school than she would have if they'd let her continue to be homeschooled. But there was nothing in the world to justify stopping her from homeschooling and reducing my parenting time and putting a gag order on. They started off with these gag orders, and when they first started doing them, I'm like, well, that's stupid. I'm not doing this anyway. But one of the things that they did was they said, a mother will present a positive attitude. And I did towards the educational situation. I did. I was very involved, very much a part of her school experience. I did everything I could to try to make it as rewarding as possible. I volunteered for everything I could possibly volunteer for. Helped generate excitement about it. Look for all the good things, and she didn't like it. She wanted to be homeschooled. Everybody knows she wanted to be homeschooled. But I said that's not an option right now. God wants us to do the best we can with the situations we're in while we're looking for something, that we really feel like is a better situation. So, so then they said that because I talked to Delara, because Delara told me, because when I told her I had to stop homeschooling her because I went to court. They said I had to start homeschooling. She says, "Don't give up." And I'm like, "I won't. I'm still, we're going to cross these hurdles, and eventually, I thought we would eventually get her back in. I thought we'd eventually get her needs met in the best way possible, but that never did happen, and I don't even know why I went off talking about that. I've got so much stuff to do. I have got to. Okay, I did. Well, today I did find my my psych eval I've been looking for. I've got so many copies of things in different places, but this wasn't handy. I didn't think I'd need it again, but I did. So I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna put it in my current stuff because it's 4 years of stuff. And I was when I found that, I was looking at all this. Father's motion for this, mother's answer to this, and father's response to mother's. I mean, when Sarah Rice Digby and said I were going at it, I just can't. I don't. I mean, I'm kind of tired at this point. I'm like, how did I ever get all that stuff done? All that stuff typed up, but the law was not on my daughter's side at the beginning. So the more people he could have, he wanted a guardian ad litem to be on his side, and I didn't have a lawyer, so he must have really, really thought his case was weak. If me not having a lawyer wasn't enough for him to think not only was his lawyer not enough to go up against me, he needed a whole team against me to overcome all the truth, all the evidence, my daughter's needs. He needed a whole team. He needed his lawyer, who's unethical. And number one, I don't think an ethical lawyer would have taken his case. Sarah Rice Digby is, I don't know what to call her. I tend to want to call her, I don't know, a mercenary, a prostitute. I think she would do anything for money. She will lie. She will cheat. She will inflict severe trauma upon innocent children for money. $60,000 for my daughter's mental health and well-being. They just absolutely destroyed it. Was it worth it? Probably. She must be one of those people that just does not have a conscience, because I don't see how anybody could do what she did, and she knows what she did. She saw the mental health records of my daughter. She knew what my daughter was saying to her dad. She knew about all this disturbing behavior my daughter was showing at school. And did they care? No. All they care about is their money and their control. I'm glad he fired her. And but then, see, not only did he need his unethical attorney, he needed a guardian ad litem. And the guardian ad litem, I didn't think she was really unethical at the beginning. I knew she was a control freak. Charlena Pye, P-Y-E, Mack, M-A-C-K, or Charlena Mack. She's a control freak. Self-righteous. She likes to go around saying what a Christian she is, and quoting scripture, talking about how she doesn't go, she doesn't go celebrate by partying. She gets high on Jesus, whatever. I mean, she's the kind of Christian that gives real Christians a bad name. Christian in name only, and then she acts like she cares about these children. She called, don't call Delara Gadir your baby or your child or your kid. She's not. She's not even your client. Your client is her dad. That's what everything she's done has shown. And in July, I thought she was going to stand up for Delara, finally. And because she told me, and this is confidential, probably, because stuff, clients and attorney stuff and negotiations or whatever, it's supposed to be confidential. Typically, I don't know if this was. I mean, this really wasn't that confidential. It was out in the hallway in July when Delara's dad wanted to stop me from having any even supervised visits. And he had already taken it upon himself to suspend my supervised visits. Contrary to court order, he wasn't even going to wait to get permission for the judge. He just did it anyway, took it upon himself. Like he did a couple years ago. And there was never any negative consequences for him, so he knew he could get away with it this time. So, I need to have my court-appointed attorney, Willis Jones, said, the guardian ad litem would like to talk to you. Would you like to talk to guardian ad litem with, us together? And I said, yeah, I'd love to hear what guardian ad litem has to say. And she said to me that she was against them stopping the supervised visitation. She said she thought Delara needed to see me. She said nobody had said Delara should not be seeing me. And that's true. That's true. In fact, everybody seemed to think Delara needed to be seeing me and seeing a lot more of me than she was seeing. So when Charlene Pimack said that in July, I'm like, well, it's about time you started coming around to the truth and doing your job and saying, yeah, that this is contrary to what all the evidence and all the law says. So I don't know what happened between July 20-something and August 17th. She didn't say one word. And of course, the August 17th hearing is in my videos, Lydia A. Hubble. I think it's on YouTube too. Maybe it's not on YouTube yet. Maybe I haven't uploaded that yet. August 17th, 2018. She never once said how it's against Delara's best interest to suspend the supervised visitation. That's the only contact that I've been having for 3 years, and it wasn't even really enough for Delara. So, but she didn't say a word. I don't think she said a word about how she felt like it was not going to be in Delara's best interest to not have any contact with me, or how nobody had said that Delara should not be seeing me. And see, that's the thing. The law says you are not supposed to order supervised, even supervised visits. You have to have definite proof that these restrictions are necessary to protect the child. They've never once done that. The only person it doesn't protect anybody. Doesn't protect anybody. It just makes the control freaks happy, and yeah, it's definitely, it is so far against my daughter's best interest, and it is so far against the law. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I want to sing that song. Delara will see this sometime. That's where we're at. This is Noah's birthday, October 2nd, 2018. I did file that motion 11 for sanctions against the liars at DCS, the abusers of the legal process at DCS. I don't expect them to withdraw their petition or correct it. I did non-suit the emergency change of custody. They denied the emergency part, but there needs to be a change of custody, but I non-suited that because it doesn't need to be out there right now. It doesn't need to be out there. I'll file something later. All of the material changes of circumstances I listed in there. Everybody knows about them. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So there's really not any point in me wasting my time with the petition. So I non-suited that. I need to write up an order saying I non-suited it. I served my Rule 11 motion for sanctions on DCS. I still need to write up. What do we have? What do we have here? We've got. I don't know. I'm tired. I'm tired. But it was a pretty good day. I'm glad I got that Rule 11 thing served, and thinking about Delara, thinking about that song, and how hard it is to do the right thing, especially when people are bullying you. And it's like what I like about that song. Like he said, we might have been better off or owned a bigger house if Daddy'd done more giving in or a little more backing down. And Delara can look at me, and she might think, well, maybe I would have gotten to see my mom a little bit more if Mom was a little bit more cooperative. But I'm not going to compromise. Never compromise what's right. It was right for me to compromise with Delara's dad on some things, which I did when we were co-parenting. There's so many things that I did not think was. I did not want to put Delara in preschool 2 days a week. I really didn't. I wanted that time with her. But I compromised. And there were other things, and specifically right before he cut me out of her life, I was willing to compromise and let him have control of 4 weeks of 4 or even 5. I don't remember what. I think I was pretty desperate of the summer vacation. He ended up cutting me out of all of it. I said, can I have 4 or 5 weeks? I had no contact for a year when I was trying to compromise with him and come to a joint decision with him. But so there's a time to compromise, and then there's a time to stand your ground. I compromised when I've compromised several times in this case. When I followed orders when I didn't think I should have. I let people into my house when I didn't think I should have. All we could do, if we treat other people the way we want to be treated, if we try to do what God tells us is right, and we treat other people the way we would want to be treated, that's the best you can do. And if you make mistakes, you make mistakes. But see, I do not have any guilt over anything. I've got a lot of sadness, a lot of grief. I've got regrets about things. The biggest thing I'm sorry about is fornication. That's the biggest thing. I am, but then good things have come out of that too, because I think it's very humbling for me to have gone through that. I'm a lot less judgmental. It's just a lot of things came out of that, but fornication's always wrong. It's always wrong. Always. It's so important, and in this society, everything's just so sex saturated, and you've got. I didn't want to believe this, but middle schoolers doing sexual stuff at school, and it's just really sad because sexual purity is really underrated, and that's very unfortunate. And but anyway, so I'm here. I'm here today in the situation I'm in because in a very sad time in my life, when I was just kind of lost my way, very sad, depressed, felt rejected, didn't know. I mean, it's just like my life had fallen apart, and I got myself in trouble. I put myself in situations I should have run away from, and I didn't. And I did find some comfort, temporary comfort at the time. Things, feel good at the time. Somebody enjoy their company, and they make you happy, and you enjoy being with them, and doing stuff, and it would have been fine if we'd left the sex at it. So that's my lesson to my kids is don't engage in baby making activities with people you don't want to have babies with, and that you're not married to, and that's another thing, is in this society people don't value marriage. They don't realize how wonderful marriage is when it is done God's way. And I was married for many years, and when it works really well. And when it doesn't work, you get the help you need and the support you need, and you fix the things that need to be fixed. You make the positive changes you need to make so that you can continue to be blessed by this union and work as a team, and life's better. I just, why did God give Adam a wife? Because it was a good thing. And the way that people don't value marriage, oh man, I tell you what, I was thinking about this today. This is going to go off on a tangent. When I was waiting to be heard at the court today, I was thinking about things parents do to hurt their kids. One of the biggest ones is committing adultery. And that breaking up a marriage. I mean, the children need this. Kids, sometimes a parent will die or be incapacitated or something, but by far, most of the time, the reason children don't have two parents in the home is because either the parents weren't married or they didn't stay married. And that's really, really bad. I really wish we could see a changing in attitudes, and maybe we will. Maybe people will see how bad it is for society to devalue marriage, and but yeah, that's big. I mean, and it is, and I know some people would disagree with me on that. I know that Ron and Sherry Palmer, they shared a video of a judge talking about how children are affected by divorce or whatever, and that's true, because I don't know why Sherry got divorced. I don't know why Ron Palmer got divorced. I do know that whatever happened, they should have been cut off from their kids, and there shouldn't be this parental alienation going on. But sometimes it's a natural consequence, because I was 20-something years old when my parents got divorced, and I still wished that my parents had not gotten divorced. I wish that they had done whatever they needed to do to be able to stay together. And yeah, and I was 20-something. and it just messes things up. It messes up holidays, and and Callie told me, she was like 10, well, about Delara's age. She said, or maybe she's a little bit older. She said she didn't know how she could ever get married and stay married because her parents and both sets of grandparents were divorced. So how could if her parents and both sets of grandparents can't make a marriage work, why would she think she could? And that's really sad. That is really a really sad message to give to your kids. And I do think Noah. I think Noah will have a good marriage. I think Noah will be a good husband. He's 20 today. And Callie, I think if she gets married, I think she's 21. And you're not bound by the mistakes and the faults of your parents, and their mistakes don't have to be your mistakes. And you can always make positive changes. And you choose how you respond. That's my favorite thing. I cannot say that often enough. That's my favorite thing that my therapist ever taught me. Is my favorite thing is you choose your response to your situation, the way people treat you. You choose your response. And that took a while to sink in. And when you go to therapy, or what, and like my psychological evaluation, it doesn't do any good if you go and only tell people the good things about you. You need to let your faults and your struggles be known, so they can be, you can get help with them. You got to be honest, and it's confidential. The thing is, you go to a mental health professional and tell them all your deep dark secrets, and they won't tell anybody. That's one thing that's one advantage that you can't get with your. I always thought a good friend is better than a shrink. But if you've got any like deep dark